The Magic Island is once more a dread name to Mrs. Gregory and her little band of friends. When they made their escape from the island through messages carried to another boat by homing pigeons, things looked favorable for a few short hours, but now the future is as black as it could be painted. Recaptured by a Euclidean submarine and being towed back to the island by their submerged captor, Tex Bradford and Jerry Hall are on the deck, wondering what their fate will be. Mrs. Gregory and her daughter Joan are aboard the submarine. As Jerry and Tex notice a sudden list to starboard, the old skipper comes running with the news that they're shipping water through a bad hole in the hull, chopped by the Euclidean who was their prisoner.
You're sure of that, Skipper?
Aye.
But how could that guy get loose? He was tied down with everything in the hold.
Wasn't enough, though, Jerry. He's gone. Kicked the sight out of our boat doing it. We've got to do something about slapping a patch on that hole, or the submarine won't have to bother to tow us much farther.
Well, let's go and see what we can do about them, Tex.
Hold it a minute, Jerry. Think you and McLeod can get a patch over that hole, Skipper?
Aye.
But without motors, we haven't got any pumps.
Nope.
Well, shove off, Skipper, and get Mac working on that thing. If you can't stop it, we'll signal the sub to take us aboard.
Aye.
And sound out for us if you can't handle it.
Aye.
Gosh, the skipper looks like he'd just as soon drown as get on board that submarine.
Can't blame him much for that, son.
Things look pretty bad, don't they, Tex?
Well, they have looked brighter, but we won't give up.
I hope Mrs. Gregory and Joan are all right in that crazy Euclidean submarine.
Jerry, my optimism has led me into trouble more than once. But I can't believe that we won't find our way out of this somehow.
I'm not scared about it. Well, yes, I am. Plenty scared. But we've been on the island before, and we got away from it. Why can't we do it again?
Well, they won't be disposed to treat us quite so kindly this time.
I don't know about that. Now, look, Captain Bradford, I think there must be some mighty good reason for wanting us to stay alive. Maybe it's your formula for the universal solvent. Maybe it's for what they think we know about our world that they don't know. But whatever it is, if they were going to do anything to us, well, why don't they just sink this boat and let it go at that?
Well, that's one way to look at it, Jerry. And it's pleasant to look at it that way. They may decide to bring a little more pressure to bear on us this time.
You mean torture you into giving them the formula?
I wouldn't put it past them.
But, gee, Tex, you'd give up the formula before you'd let them... Well, wouldn't you?
Yes, Jerry, I'm afraid I would. There's very little satisfaction in being put out of the way entirely. If worst comes to worst, I'll give them the real formula and take a chance on beating them to the use of it.
Well, we'd have to try and make another escape then.
We'll have to do that anyway if they give us a chance, but it won't be so easy now.
Yeah, and they probably won't let us live on this boat.
Not much chance of that, unless they don't trust us on the island. After what you and Joan did to them, they're not sure how dangerous we may be.
Not really dangerous to them. Well, they could get rid of us in a minute if they wanted to.
Sure, but now they don't want to. They wouldn't be taking us back to the island so carefully.
Hey, the boat's riding better now.
Seems to be on more even keel. Mac and the skipper must have been able to stick something in that hole. Riding low in the water, though. We ship plenty of moisture.
Well, it can sink if it wants to, just so we land on something.
I managed to smuggle most of my instruments on this boat with us. They'll take those away the minute we get back to the island.
Well, I guess there's no use guessing. But golly whiskers, I'm nervous about what they're going to do to us.
We won't be in doubt long. At this speed, we'll reach the island in an hour, possibly less.
Hey, Tex. Tex, did you hear that?
I did hear something. Sounded like our radio. Jerry, maybe we've got juice enough left in those batteries to pick up a carrier wave.
No, it wasn't that. It was a ray gun.
A ray gun?
Yeah, one of those Euclidean ray guns, like the two Joan and I took away from that guard we took prisoner.
But where could it come from?
I don't know.
Oh, you must be imagining things, kid. That was a radio squeal.
No, it wasn't, Tex. I've heard all sorts of noises come out of radio sets, but none of them made my hair stand on end like this one did. There's something about the high whine of those ray guns. It sounds... There it goes again.
Yeah, I heard it plenty enough that time. Those things certainly have an unearthly wail. Where did it come from?
Sounded right under our feet.
How could it come from there? Will they work underwater?
Not very well, and not that loud.
I wonder.
What?
That Euclidean guard we had tied up in the hold.
But he's gone. Escaped when he cut that hole in the boat, just about daylight.
If he's gone, where'd he go?
On board the sub, I suppose.
He couldn't have boarded that sub, Jerry. We saw the hatch in the nose open. No one went in there but that woman submarine commander and Mrs. Gregory and Joan.
No, not in the hatch.
Well, where else?
Well, those subs have an airlock. He could have been taken aboard while he was swimming underwater, and we couldn't possibly have seen him.
Then he's been in the water all the time. Now remember that we had no power. He could have ridden that rudder post for hours with comparative ease.
But who would he be shooting those ray guns at?
Maybe the skipper or Mac stuck their heads up over the stern.
No, they're still below.
Below, that's it, kid. Scatter for that stern hatch, quick, and walk on your toes now. Don't make a sound.
What's up?
That Euclidean never left this boat.
He what?
I'm sure of it. He knocked that hole in the side to make it look like an escape. Then he hid in the hole until the skipper and Mac fixed the leak. Now that he's in no danger of drowning, he used that ray gun to put the boys to sleep. We'll meet him at the hatch and fix him up with a little nap.
We mustn't use a ray gun on him.
Why not?
Well, the girl sub-commander is supposed to have our ray guns. And if we use one now, this guy will know we still have them.
Good boy, Jerry. You think fast sometimes. All right, now look. We'll sneak up on each side of that companionway. He can't see us till he hits the deck with 1 foot. We'll let him have it.
But his ray gun.
Can't put more than one of us to sleep with 1 shot. And the other one can have him tapped on the air by that time.
Okay, Tex.
Now, not a sound till we land him.
Yeah. Oh, gee. Whew. But that guy was hard to handle. Ah, Tex. Hey, Tex.
Feel a little sleepy, Jerry.
Oh, come on. Walk around with me. I'll help you.
That ray gun.
He just about hit the end of your fingers with it. If you try hard, maybe you can walk it off and stay awake.
Not yet, but I'll try.
Oh, come on, then. Try.
Sure, I'll try.
Now, lean on me as heavy as you want to.
How did you fix our friend?
Well, I didn't have anything to hit him with, but I got a chance to jerk his head against the combing. He'll be quiet for a while.
Good boy, Jerry. Is the boat rolling a lot, or are my legs just unsteady?
Well, the water's beginning to boil around this rail. I'll bet that blamed sub is coming up again.
No, it feels like we've lost seaway.
Well, I should have noticed that a long time ago. We're not making any way at all. They've dropped our bow anchor. And there goes the nose of the blame thing.
You know, someday that girl's going to tip a boat over. Coming up under it like a whale.
Oh, not that girl. She's too smart. And what she can't do with that submarine isn't worth doing.
You know, Jerry, that's the weirdest sight. End of a sub sticking straight up out of the water and just as steady as a lighthouse.
Hey, here comes the commander. I can see her hand coming up on the bow platform.
Yeah, and you still insist that girl is a friend of ours?
I know she is. Now sit up straight as you can.
All right, but I can't see very well, kid.
Keep your face pointed toward the noise of her voice. I'll do the talking.
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, meaning of what?
That boat is becoming harder to move. I should think, Hall, that you would realize the hopelessness of your situation by this time and attempt no foolish moves.
Well, we can't help it if your Euclidean prisoner escaped and cut a hole in our boat, can we?
Where is the Euclidean guard now?
Oh, he's back there at the stern somewhere.
And what is he doing?
Taking a little nap last time I saw him.
Have you nothing to say, Captain Bradford?
Well, no. The captain, he's,
I understand perfectly. The captain is asleep.
He's mighty tired.
You haven't forgotten my teaching so quickly, have you, Hall? A ray gun will register on my instruments.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know what's the matter with Tex, then? That Euclidean we thought was safely tied up in the hole was hiding somewhere in the boat, and he used his ray gun on the engineer and our skipper. And when we tried to catch him, well, Tex got a little of it, too.
What was the size of the gun?
Well, one of those little 300 seconds, like we've, like we had once.
That is well. And the guard is where now?
Well, he got rough with us back there near the engine room hatch, and I had to bump his head on the combing to keep him quiet.
You will do well to guard him closely until I deliver you safely to G47. That man will not hesitate to harm you.
No. I suppose you think old G47 is going to give us a picnic.
G47 will give you what he thinks your case warrants. Is the leak in your boat sufficiently repaired to indicate possibility of successfully towing you to Euclidia?
Well, it stopped leaking, if that's a big enough answer for you.
Your attempts to converse with me as an equal are rather futile, are they not?
Maybe so, but I get 'em said.
You have said far too much. I will resume my position under your bow, and the bow anchor will be picked up by the stern magnetic fin. We will reach the island in 1800 seconds.
Oh, half an hour, huh? Okay, Skipper. We'll hang on. How are Mrs. Gregory and Joan?
They are in my care.
That might mean anything.
Indeed, it might.
Golly whiskers. Now, this is a fine pickle. McLeod and the old skipper are asleep in the hole, and Tex sleeping on the rail, and, well, if that guard starts up this way, I hope I can handle him.
I'll help you, kid.
Oh, gee, Tex, are you all right?
Well, I have felt better, but I'm waking up a little, and I can tell what goes on around me.
Well, the sub has gone under again, and she'll be picking up our bow anchor any minute.
How much time did she say we had before we get to the island?
Half hour, why?
Well, we might have a chance to plan a little something, but the hope isn't very strong.
And that Euclidean back there at the stern won't stay asleep much longer. If that's only a 300-second ray gun, he ought to be coming out of it now.
That sub just picked up our anchor?
Yeah, we're starting to move now. And the commander said only 1,800 seconds to Euclidean.
Oh, forget the 1,800-second stuff, Jerry. Let's talk like white people for the few minutes we have left.
Well, that stuff gets me, though. I'm getting so I talk just like those Euclideans.
Yeah, not exactly, but...
Hey, here comes that Euclidean guard, sneaking around the corner of the aft cabin.
I can't see very well. Has he got his ray gun?
Sure he has.
Then you'll have to use yours if he crowds us.
But that way, he'll find out we have them.
He'll find it out anyway if he puts us to sleep and searches us.
Tex, wait a minute. I think we're going to be all right.
What's going on?
The old skipper. He's in his bare feet, sneaking up behind that Euclidean.
Has he got a gun?
No, but he's got a monkey wrench. And he's going to use it. Oh, boy, what a sock.
Did the skipper get him, Jerry?
I'll say he got him. And he'll be asleep longer than any of those ray guns would be good for. That old skipper can sure use a monkey wrench.
Back to the Magic Island. That strange artificial island called Euclidia, which held the Gregory party prisoner for so long, is to become their stopping place once more. When Mrs. Gregory, Joan, Jerry, and Captain Bradford made their escape on a small cabin cruiser, with their faithful old skipper and the Scotch engineer McLeod, all seemed well. But the Euclideans are not so easily beaten. The submarine, commanded by the beautiful young woman whom the Euclideans call Commander, has brought them back to the island. The surface of the island is above water now, and apparently the Euclideans feel no danger near them, as Euclidia is open to view from all sides. Jerry and Tex Bradford are standing at the bow of the boat as they drift slowly but steadily to the island.
Gee, Captain Bradford, this is almost like it was the first time we landed here.
Yes, Jerry, except that we had high hopes then.
Well, we're not done yet.
That's right, we're not whipped. Things could look more pleasant.
It feels just as weird as it did that first time. The boat without any power, being pulled to that island just as smoothly as if they had a line tied to it.
They might as well have one. That eternal magnetic force will pull in any boat on the ocean. They must feel mighty sure of themselves today. They're not using the magnetic fog ring around the island.
Yeah, I noticed that, too. And it's a clear day. Say, there isn't a soul in sight on the island.
Our arrival can't be of much importance.
I'll bet it's plenty important.
That sub must be docked down there by now.
Well, sure it is. They rammed the nose of that thing right into an airlock on the side of the island and unload through the nose. Gee, I wonder where Mrs. Gregory and Joan are now.
That woman commander has probably turned them over to G-47 for questioning.
Oh, I wish you and I could be there to help them out. You know, it needs a man at a time like this.
You're right, Jerry. But I'm afraid we'll be some time getting back together.
Well, they may keep us apart from now on.
Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
We're going to have a harder time escaping.
We'll have no chance at all to escape. Jerry, our only hope will be to take over this island, and that's a job.
Well, I wish they'd start something. This dragging along up to the pier without seeing anyone move on the island is getting on my nerves.
Somebody will be out to take care of us. Don't be in a hurry for your punishment.
Now we're sliding along the pier, and the boat is being warped in as carefully as you could do it with a line.
Not quite as impressive as the first time they did it to us, so. We've seen it before.
Hey, Tex, look.
That magnetic fog ring being thrown up around us now, eh?
Yeah, and all around the island.
When that fog closes in, you can feel the power of this mad island.
You know, Euclidia becomes mighty real, all right, when you see them shutting us off from the world just as easy as we turn off the gas jet back home.
And I think we're going to get our welcome before long.
Why?
Isn't that one of their elevator housings rising up out of the island?
Yeah, but that's funny. There wasn't any elevator there when we were here before.
Steady, Jerry. Things are wild enough here without allowing yourself any daydreams.
Well, I know what I'm talking about, Tex. That elevator wasn't there when we were here before. They must have built it.
Jerry, when we were here before means last night.
Huh?
Don't you realize we've been off this island only a matter of hours?
Golly whiskers, you're right. And they couldn't have rebuilt that island and stick in another elevator shaft that fast.
Of course they couldn't. So you must be mistaken.
No, I'm not mistaken. I don't know how that elevator got there so quick, but there wasn't any elevator on this side of the island yesterday.
Wait a minute, I've got it, kid. We're coming in from the south this time.
Oh, no, we're not. And you know we're not. That island's been turned around.
Turned around?
I'm not dreaming, Tex. Look at the position of the defense chambers and the main radio room. And look at this pier. It's on the north side of the island. Just the same position they pulled us into before. But it isn't the same pier.
But do you realize what you're saying, Jerry?
Sure I do.
Then you think they can move this island? I don't mean just submerge it and then raise it again as we saw them do. I mean actually move the entire island?
I'm as sure as I'm standing here that they've already moved it.
Huh. And we're going to escape from a setup like this? Huh.
Maybe we'd better not talk any more about what we're going to do. Here comes the Euclideans.
Say, that was an elevator. There's an even dozen men coming over here.
And every one of them are carrying those big ray guns.
They're not just sleep producers like the ones we...
Careful.
Sure.
No, those guns put you to sleep so you won't wake up at all.
Then listen, we'll do exactly as they say.
Wait, this spooky place is beginning to get me going again. Look at all those fellas walking right up to us. And their heavy shoes not making a sound. You know, they're walking on rocks.
It's that noiseless paint again. Well, our freedom is over, son. Now keep your chin up.
Right. And I'll let you do all the talking.
Yes, I hope they give me a chance to talk. Their faces don't look as if they'd come for a friendly chat.
Oh, let them start it.
Good idea. Well?
Guess we just stand and look at each other.
Well, what do you want us to do? Won't somebody say something?
I will.
Better not, Jerry.
Oh. Oh, at least they can loosen up enough to make motions.
Yes, and they want us to come over on the pier.
Wonder if they'll let us get McLeod and the skipper, too.
How about our friends? Do we bring them along?
The answer is no. And they're getting tired waiting for us, I'm afraid.
Well, we may as well go. Now, look, don't make any passes at them.
Don't worry, I won't. Boy, those old footsteps sound pretty good. You may not hear any more of them for a long time.
No, that soundproof paint will spoil all that.
Well, here we are. What now?
Follow you? No? Oh, I see. Get in the middle, son.
Nice place to be with a ring of those ray guns all around us. Hey, don't need to stick that thing into my ribs.
Easy, Jerry. They want us to go along with them. Let's go and save our conversation for some other time.
Yeah, if we get a chance to use it at all. All right, I'll keep quiet.
I don't see any reason why we can't talk. Everyone on this island can hear us, so they don't have to worry about anything we might say.
Well, I guess we can talk all right, just so as we don't get in the wrong cracks.
And we'd better say nothing.
Say, that is a new elevator. Are we going down in that thing?
No questions, kid.
No answers either, but it looks like we are.
We are.
You never had a ride in one of these things, did you?
Not as many as you and Joan had.
You know, some of them do tricks with you.
Well, these kind gentlemen are going to ride with us, Jerry. We'll probably experience nothing out of the ordinary.
Watch this operate now.
I'm watching.
And listen, wait till a big magnet grabs the car. You can count the floors as we pass them.
Jerry, we're dropping now.
Yeah, and I didn't hear any magnets.
That's more like a hydraulic to me, or compressed air.
My stomach tells me we're going down pretty fast.
At least I haven't been able to count any floors.
Oh, boy, what a ride. Ooh.
Looks like we get out here, Jerry.
I wonder which level we're on.
Our steps sound awfully loud here. All right, fellow, I'll go. No need to get so rough about it.
You know, G-47 has told these boys to handle us pretty rough.
Well, they're doing it. We might as well go where they want us to.
Well, I never saw this part of the island before. Hey, Tex.
What?
Listen.
To what?
To our voices. We're in one of those blame echo chambers where everything sounds about twice as loud as it is.
There is a hollow ring to it, all right. Well, this is the end of the passage, so I judge we'll stop here.
Hey, I think they want us to go on in.
We go in without you? Okay. Come on, Jerry.
Well, at least we're alone.
Yes, with about 100 microphones picking up every sound we make, I suppose.
I wish we could get out of this blame echo thing.
What are we supposed to do here, I wonder?
Well, this looks like a little hall, and I can see 4 doors. Let's start knocking on doors and see who lives here. We're in a steel cell, and that's for sure.
Yes, the way that door clanged shut behind us didn't leave much doubt as to that.
Think it's all right if I knock on the door?
Might as well find out where we are.
Okay, here goes. Golly, Whiskers.
You shouldn't knock so hard, Jerry.
I didn't. I just...
Oh, Jerry,
Tricia, are you all right?
Oh, you're betraying us. Joan and I are all right, Tex, and you and Jerry?
Not hurt a bit, Pat.
Our outlook has not been particularly pleasant during this enforced separation. Your welfare has given us some concern.
Well, you're okay, Joan. Whenever you start to unwind the dictionary, I can tell you're right side up and ready for another round.
It does seem as if your attempts at conversation grow more confusing and illogical with each attempt.
Oh, is that so?
Now, you two kids stop quarreling.
Oh, I don't mind it, Tex. The last few hours have proven to me that I can stand anything if only we're all together.
How much chance have we to stay together on this island?
Our hurried observations made during a brief tenancy of this apartment would warrant a conclusion that we will all be confined in this series of chambers, with many privileges.
You couldn't work in something about the privilege of escaping, could you?
Quiet, Jerry. Someone may be hearing all we say.
We know they are. Joan says these walls are made of transparent steel and that they can watch us from the outside at all times. But I see no reason why we shouldn't talk as we please. G47 and his assistants will know that escape is our one thought.
Yeah, and that's probably a lot of wasted thinking.
Indubitably.
Probably all's all right.
Now, will you two be quiet for a minute till we have a chance to look around? How about closing this door?
It's not necessary. That short outer hall is ours, and we have 4 private rooms here, all connected by the hall.
Well, it looks as if we're going to be comfortable for the present.
And there is a refrigeration chamber well stocked with food and appliances for its preparation. It would appear that we are to be left alone to our own devices, for the time at least.
Good. Maybe we can figure something out. If we only had our stuff off the boat.
We'll have that, Jerry. The submarine commander told us our possessions would be brought to us in time.
Yes, after G47 has looked them over carefully, of course.
The little homing pigeons we are to have here.
Golly, Whiskers, that's swell.
What good will the pigeons do us, Jerry? Don't forget we're 90 feet below the surface of the ocean, in a steel chamber on an artificial island.
It doesn't sound like much of a picnic when you add it up that way, Pat. Pigeons or airships. Nothing can do us much good here.
Well, they must be going to do something with us. What is it?
This confinement with the continuous reverberation of our voices will rapidly reach the state of exquisite torture.
Joan, dear, you think this terrible echo is deliberate? A method of punishment?
I know it is, Mother. During my lifetime on this island, many people have been placed in these echo cells, and it is only a short time until they will do anything G47 desires to escape from their own voices.
Yes, I can see how that would work. It wouldn't be long until the sound of voices here would drive one mad.
Oh, gee, we've got to talk, or we'd go mad anyway.